Hello and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Of course, I'm your host Clay, and with me, not like every single week because we weren't here last week, is of course Katie. Now, Katie had a very good excuse. I say excuse, a very good reason to not be here. Surgery recovery is very important, and we need to take care of ourselves. So,
Yes, and it ended up being more extensive than the doctor thought it was going to be. So I was on painkillers for a hot minute. But
oh
they were like
joy,
Toradol, which is like heavy duty Tylenol.
yeah,
So it was not like super bad, but like I was walking around with an ice pack and enjoying my Toradol.
lovely.
And because it was more extensive, he originally told me, oh, it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks before you can lift heavier than 20 pounds. It was actually, now it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. So I
Oh,
still can't pick up
fun.
Mara. I won't be able to pick up Mara until Christmas.
Oh no. That sucks.
I'm kind of dying inside a little bit.
No, I
Um,
I I get that. I uh Abby was the same way with her gallbladder removal.
mhm.
So they were like, "Hey, since this happened all of a sudden, we're just letting you know, don't pick up anything heavy." And we're like, we have a somewhat newborn. Like, what do we? What and they're like, yeah, so don't do it. Just don't. I'm like, oh crap. So that was fun. But I'm glad you're doing okay.
Yes, I'm doing
Keep,
great.
keep doing what you're doing. Um, and so yeah, we have some news for you guys. And I actually have some news of my own. Which
Yeah.
it's crazy. I didn't know that we were gonna do this, and then we're like, "Hey, we kind of need to do this to get wind of, get people excited for it, get people invested in it." So, guys, I've been teasing something for a very long time that I've been working on, and I finally get to say what it is. Last Friday,
Yeah, I think
last
it was Friday.
either last Friday or last Thursday, I was able to finally soft pre launch my website. And you're probably thinking, what kind of website? What kind of website is that? It's not going to be a website, it's going to be more of a platform. I am taking on the very daunting undertaking of creating a platform specifically for comic book audio dramas. I have already been working with a studio that is creating samples for publishers that are interested in doing so. But yeah, it will have its own website, it will have its own app, and it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited to get publishers on board and to have a really cool UI that I have been planning out. Katie actually has given me some advice on how to, publish this first landing page and things like that. Um, and the entire GUA has kind of had a small hand in preparing for my soft launch, which is really really fun. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for about 10 years now, and having the ability to do it now is really crazy. And when I say it's an undertaking, for sure, when you look at the uh, total library of comic books all in existence versus how many of those have audiobooks, there's nothing there. It's bare. There is maybe a small handful in the grand scheme of things. When you look at novels, you have a total of 2 to 4 million books that are published every single year. There's about 7,000 to 10,000 of those that get audiobooks. That's less than 1%. There's not even, well, I think there is a total of less than 1% now. like in total of all the audiobooks that are there for comics now. But to keep up with that of the book market, it's non-existent. And so I want to make it an established norm to have audiobooks or audio dramas for comic books. This is more so not only for comic book fans or for the audiobook fans, but most importantly for a whole group of individuals that have never been able to pick up a comic book with the vision impaired and blind communities. It's very important to me. It's what really brought about the entire idea of this. When I first worked at a comic shop, I helped a deaf individual find the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book that he was looking for. And while he was looking at the pages, I just thought, well, if a deaf person can enjoy a comic, how does a blind person enjoy the comic? And that's what sparked it all. And so now I'm getting to go on that journey, and we'll see how it goes. Uh, it's very exciting. Um, I can't share too much because we are still in the building stage. We have an idea of when we want to launch, but all of that will become more and more of like public information as time goes on. But if any of you are interested in this concept, please go visit the website volumecomics.com and sign up for our email list that will tell you when beta is ready, when our official launch is being planned, and things like that. And it also helps us gauge, the overall interest of this. We know that there's 3 to 4 huge communities that are, really where this is driven. But we want to actually be able to show these investors and these publishers, like, hey, look, this is what people want. So if you guys could do that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. But enough about me. Let's move on to Star Wars, because again, on Wednesdays we wear Star Wars. Um,
Pew pew pew.
I
I
love
did
that
want.
shirt.
I got so many compliments at my doctor's appointment, and they were like, oh, "Dude, I love your shirt. Like, where did you get it?" I was like, "I don't know. My husband got it for me."
That's awesome.
So I did just want to talk quickly before we dive into our one news topic. Um, Over November already, things have released into the wild for Star Wars, and I've got them
Yes.
right here. So I wanted to quickly talk about them. The first is Master of Evil. It released last Tuesday, November
Yes.
11th. Um, I don't have a dust jacket on this, so if you're on YouTube, I apologize. I don't keep my dust jackets. But we have already reviewed this. We plan on going back to it at some point because I need to go back to it and recalibrate my thoughts. If you have listened to our review episode, that is out already. Clay is going to link it in the description box below for you guys. If you are interested, obviously it's only been out a week. I don't blame you if you don't want to listen to a review episode. I don't listen to review episodes or read reviews before we do reviews here, unless I know we're not doing it for a hot minute. So feel free to come back to it, though. You can always come back to it. The next one is Path of the Lightsaber, which is a sequel trilogy original story that is a manga. It is the first manga in the series. This is by Kenny Ruiz. He did the story and apparently the art, published by Viz Media. So if you guys are interested in mangas, we will be reviewing this in December. Date to be determined, but you will have a review come December. We're just talking about Visions because Visions is kind of a bigger topic at the moment. But definitely check this out. I have not gotten to read it yet, but I am very excited. It is in like my to be read pile on my desk.
I am halfway through this. I really enjoy the artwork of this book. I was actually able to get this like a week in advance at Barnes and Noble. I was there literally to pre-order it, and they're like, we have literally one copy, and you can have it. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, they actually don't have an embargo date for this book, so it's a plus that if you always go to the actual physical store to ask about books because they could give it to you. So I was able to purchase this a week in advance.
Barnes and Noble is known to do this. Obviously, it's not the best thing in the world, but
No, it's not. And I will always say,
I
hey,
can't blame you for taking advantage of it because
Go-
I went searching for High Republic books that way.
well, yeah. I will always say, hey, go to your local bookstore to pre-order books. This, me, Abby, and Amber Lynn just so happened to be in the mall that the bookstore Barnes and Noble was attached to. And so as we were leaving, I was like, hey, I just want to see, if they will even be picking this up. Because I don't know if my particular local bookstore really orders mangas.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like my thing, or my reasoning why I just wanted to stop at Barnes and Noble rather than driving another 15-20 minutes to a comic shop to pre-order it that day.
Y'all, I don't have a local bookstore, so I can't blame you for going to Barnes and Noble. The other thing that released, guys, is the Bad Batch Ghost Agents trade. And I have this on the schedule for us to review next year. But I tend to order all of my stuff in advance. Like for the release dates, so I don't get lost. And I follow if you guys are interested in keeping track of Star Wars publishing media, different varieties, I always go to utini.com to look at the release schedule. And that's how I do all of my ordering is I go, okay, what's coming out this month? Let me get it ordered. So that's how you knew. And obviously we've already said this, but Clay and I received Master of Evil from Random House Worlds, so we did not have to order that one. But as always, just wanted to say thank you again, and it did not affect our review in the slightest because we had already reviewed it by the time we got the physical copy.
Yeah.
So, but that is what I have in my pile, and those are like the bigger ticket items for Star Wars that aren't like research guides or anything, because I don't personally order a bunch of those. I pick and choose the research non-canon non-fiction things.
Yeah,
I pick and choose what I want off of that list, and I don't order those in advance. So that is the fiction things that have released that are big and not like individual comic issues. So with that, the news topic, Clay.
We have, I think, 2 pieces of news, maybe, maybe just
I thought
one.
we were just talking Young Jedi Adventures.
Okay, so yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into that. So I hate this new update to Twitter.
It is the worst thing.
It is the worst thing because I noticed about 2 days ago, if you keep scrolling through your feed, the bottom buttons disappear.
Yeah, I can.
And then you like scroll like up and down a couple times to try and like find it again, and then they magically just reappear. I hate it.
I can no longer send links to a chat. I have to copy the link and then go to the chat, then send the link. This is probably my final straw with Twitter because like I have literally logged into Twitter like twice since this update.
It's pretty gross. I don't like it at all. But we did get a trailer for Young Jedi Adventures. Season 3 is coming to Disney Plus on December 8th. So, something that was also, well, no, I don't think it was on the schedule. And then we're like, it's like the first week.
They said it was supposed to be coming out in winter 2025. So we knew it was supposed to be coming out, but honestly, I forgot about it. So it's coming out December 8th. The trailer is out there if anybody wants to take a look at it. Obviously, this is a kids show. The plot points aren't super huge, but it's a really cool story. The characters are super awesome. So it was also announced that on December 8th, every single episode of season 3 is dropping, which has not happened previously. They have been released in parts. So like
part
12
1 and part
episodes,
2.
12
Yeah.
episodes. So the whole entire thing is releasing, which makes me think it's only probably about 12 episodes.
But I
What do you
wonder if this also indicates that it's the last season.
They did state that it is the last season.
Okay. Yeah.
And in the trailer, you can actually see the older characters, and they have Padawan braids.
Oh, really?
So, like, we're going to get to see them become Padawans and everything, though I imagine that's going to take place, like, we're going to get, like, a future post-credit ending shot, basically. But it is going to be the last season, which kind of makes me sad. Because apparently Disney Plus just has like, oh, everything must end in sets of 3.
Yeah.
At the moment, because like Bad Batch, Mando, like the max they have been given is 3 seasons, and probably the Darth Maul show, Shadow Lord, is also probably going to be 3 seasons. And I'm like, this is a kid show. You could have literally taken this and just run and run and run.
Yeah. You really could have.
Because there is no major plot to it. There is no like, oh, we're going to get to the Nihil. Like...
Yeah, no, I kind of wonder, because I've never actually gone that extensive with, like, the fact that, you know, the other shows of this variety, that of, like, PJ Masks and Spider-Man and Friends, like, I haven't done my research to know how many seasons those are. So, looking at it now, PJ Masks has a total of 5 seasons. The 5th season having 25 episodes. So I do feel like this show could have still like gone on to do more and more. And the same thing for, like I said,
Meet Spidey, The Amazing Friends, which is a shorts. They have 4 seasons with 10 episodes.
Well, it says Spidey and The Amazing Friends. That is 4 seasons. Yeah.
Oh, that's the shorts. Okay. There is still 4 seasons for the actual episodes.
Yeah.
And it's still 10 episodes.
Yeah, and then there's a new one called Iron Man and Awesome Friends.
Yeah,
and that one just started. Yeah, that one just started. But like it's all the same animation style. It's all the same kind of like Saturday morning type of rhetoric. And so like these and again, like the biggest change when it comes to these types of shows and viewing of the public is most of these shows really like were focused on getting syndication.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're looking at 100 episodes every single show, then you're able to throw it into any other network and start generating revenue. Most networks don't do that anymore because most networks have their own streaming service. But still, like these shows are popular with the very small community. When I say small, I mean not as in like numbers wise, but I mean like literally small baby children communities. They love them.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
It is a shame. I am interested to see if they will have another kid show type of thing pop up. Or if they're really just kind of cycling down on Lucasfilm's productions. like I know one of the things we're going to talk about next week is like they're saying like with the Ninth Jedi series, Lucasfilm is stepping in more, and you said like, oh, this makes me concerned. But at the same time, with what we know about the Hunt for Ben Solo script, is the issues with Star Wars Disney's fault or Lucasfilm's fault? So
Yeah, like the reason why I'm saying I'm worried for Lucasfilm's involvement in the Ninth Jedi is more so, hey, we want to change things creatively. That's what I'm not okay with. Like,
yeah, and
Ninth
that makes
Jedi has a
sense.
pretty solid story already being told. Like, I don't need Lucasfilm to think like, oh, let's Americanize it and that'll make it better. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that type of agenda for Lucasfilm. If they
Hmm.
step in to be like, hey, we have the bigger budgets to help you tell the story that you want to tell, hey, right on. Let's do it. That's what I want the involvement of Lucasfilm to be. But
Yeah.
anything more than that, I think is kind of, it might be a bad idea.
And that does make sense. I was just bringing that up as an example.
Yeah.
So yeah. Are we ready to dive into our part 2 of Visions Volume 3 deep dive?
Yes. Yes, we are. Now, my question to you is, are we going to go in viewing order? Because if that is, that would be Yuko's treasure, the smuggler, and then the bird of paradise. Or would you like to take one over the other when it comes to what is first, second, or third?
I picked last week. You need to pick this week.
Okay. Well, I think let's go. So here's the other thing also. I think that we were totally different in our ranking of this of these three. So I had the Bird of Paradise as number 7.
I need to go back and rewrite my rankings down because I didn't write my rankings
Yeah,
down.
yeah, you were going off the cuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like the Bird of Paradise is like my least favorite, whereas I think you had it a little bit higher up on
Yeah, I think
yours.
it was
So
fourth.
so like in my rankings, I have the Smuggler being the highest at 4, then Yuko's Treasure at 6, and then Paradise at 7. Um, so it really doesn't matter to me. I like all of these in their own individual ways. But when it comes to like the conversation pieces, I'll say this. I want to, I'm making up my mind. The Bird of Paradise, I want last. I want the
Okay.
Bird of Paradise to be last because it's the one that I felt I needed a third viewing because I watched it and then I immediately rewound it and started watching it again.
Yeah, I
Um,
gave all these 3 viewings
nice.
a piece. So I did the initial watch and then I went through and kind of took notes. And then the third one, I just was like, okay, let's reabsorb, let's not do anything. So yeah.
Yeah. So
So
in that case, what I want to do, the Smuggler is only 19 minutes and Yuko's Treasure is 24 minutes. Let's jump into the Smuggler. It's the shortest
okay.
one. And honestly, when you watch it, it really does feel like such a quick watch.
It really does. And we can go ahead and get into the non-spoilers for the smuggler because I know we want to try and do like a quick snippet for social media.
Yes.
So the smuggler is a production by Trigger. And my non-spoiler review. I really do enjoy Cheetah as a character, but I felt like I needed more interpretation of some of the things going on in the episode. Uh, Gleenu is a highlight for me. I love Gleenu so much. I have like in my notes section, I have Gleenu, Gleenu, Gleenu like 4 times. Uh, because I love her. I love when an older woman gets to be a showcase and be a badass.
Yeah.
And so I loved that highlight here. I definitely struggled with everything else in it, though. I do enjoy Cheetah as a character, but just the episode as a whole, I felt like I needed more details. Like I felt like there was times where they chose to focus on an action sequence and should have focused on some character
Like
building
character
moments.
development. Yeah. So I get it. I'm a little bit of the opposite because I see this as only a stepping stone into a greater world or a greater universe. And the reason why that is because this is one of the only episodes, and this is still spoiler free, but a little tidbit. This is one of the only episodes that gives us more information in the beginning of the episode with like, oh hey, this is what's going on in the universe right now type of ordeal.
It's just like an opening crawl.
It is, but again, we talked about it when we were doing our rankings. There's not a whole lot of opening crawls in this 9 episode season of Visions. There's this one, and then there is the Song of the Four Wings. That's really all that has the opening crawl. So I do think, well, oh, now that I think about it, does the Ninth Jedi have an opening crawl?
I do not remember.
I don't
As
remember.
I have tried to avoid
But
watching it.
I know I'm avoiding all the sequel stuff so I can have it fresh when we actually do that on our part 3 of deep dives. But this one I really enjoyed the like establishing the universe. That was like the big highlight for me in like really just looking at this at the baseline. And I also really enjoy an elder badass. The the reason why that is because it's something it's a little bit of a trope in the anime kind of genre because you see it as, oh, that person is like that person's never going to be a problem because they're an old decrepit, like they're non-threatening. And then there's always a jaw-dropping moment when you finally realize, oh crap, they're the biggest threat right now. And that's what she becomes in a very quick, like 2 minute segment of this 19-minute short. And I love it. I genuinely do.
And that's like my thing ultimately, and kind of moving into the spoiler territory. Like, I do understand what you're saying about it building into a bigger universe and a bigger galaxy. I felt like this was basically like a planet in the middle of the rebellion timeframe because we get the stuff about the Empire in the opening crawl scene. But then we get a Yavin 4 appearance at the end. And obviously it's not said to be Yavin 4, but it looks identical.
It's
to
almost
4.
shot for shot, type of thing.
So I love getting Yavin 4 in things because I feel like the connection there before Andor season 2 had been almost non-existent. Everybody wanted to kind of ignore Yavin 4 as a whole. But you talk about the action scene with Gleeno, and yes, I love that action scene. But then like the space sequence at the end, and maybe it's just the animation style, but I did not like it. Like, it looks completely different to the rest of the episode. it looks it doesn't it doesn't match up with what I have expectations in for how the rest of Visions has done space sequences. And so, like, to me, that was also a big detractor because you spend probably 3 minutes in space and doing the fight with the bounty hunter and the Star Destroyer and everything. But it looks so bad. And I feel like if you're going to devote that much time to it, I would at least like the visuals to be of better quality, in my opinion. And I'm not typically one to nitpick on visuals, but I did feel like the lightsaber stuff with Gleenu was wasn't the best. But I also love Gleenu, so I was willing to kind of step past that one. But the space stuff, we don't do a whole lot of stuff with the space stuff.
Well,
Like
and
the
I was literally just looking at it. So the moment they get into the ship is at 12 minutes 28 seconds. The moment they fly away from the Star Destroyer is at 13 minutes 49 seconds. So it's only a
Okay.
minute and 20 seconds. Now
So
the
see,
thing
I
is,
I feel like it's like 4 minutes. I was like,
well, and the
geez.
thing is, which is I think it may have just been a small like thing of like just forgetting to render a different color of the sky or whatever,
Hmm.
because they've already broken the atmosphere, but the sky is still bright blue as if they are under the atmosphere of this planet and
Yeah,
not the deep space, you know?
it may have been that factor because the prince tells her to turn around and like change course and stuff. So I feel like it was more of an exploration into the prince at that point.
Hmm.
But to me, the main character in this is not the prince; it's Cheetah. Um,
Yeah.
and you didn't dive into that of like you just kind of said, "Oh, okay, we can fly." But like, great, we already kind of knew that because she's a smuggler and she's wanted by the empire. Like, of course she can fly, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, to me, there's a lot left up that's like wanting in this. I'm trying to think if like any other, like, I loved a lot of stuff about this. Like, we got swearing in this. I thought the bounty hunter looked cool. Um and like it took
I
me
like,
rewatch.
well, go ahead, sorry.
And then I liked a lot about like Cheetah's interaction with Gleenu and stuff. Like I highlighted like we jump, we break through, like kind of mirroring each other in
Hmm.
that instance when Cheetah jumps the speeder off the bridge and then Gleanu's like we break through. Like they both kind of had the same reaction to each other. And I dug that. I dug a lot about this. I'm not saying the episode is completely bad. I'm just saying like this is why it doesn't hit for me.
Yeah. I do like the one thing that we've kept saying about Visions as a whole is that these creators and studios are taking like deep root inspiration directly from the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that we see the Prince and a Jedi is literally a play off of Luke and Obi-Wan. Like
Yeah.
something that we didn't mention in our rankings because of course this is more of a deep dive. I like that. I do like that it's, you know, a tongue-in-cheek, you know, nod to original trilogy where not a lot of people would really probably think that at face value because they're just seeing new characters.
Yeah.
But, you know, these people are creating these things for a certain reason. Um I also like the interactions between Cheetah and Gleenu. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Uh, More so because of the age gap between the two.
Hmm.
You can kind of hear, like, especially in the very beginning when they first have their interaction, of like, oh, you have trouble with the empire. It's like, oh yeah, just like you. And it's funny not just because like, oh, they're both, probably going to get in trouble for this, but like when you really look at it, it's like, hey, I may be old, but like I'm not stupid. Like I
Yeah.
know that like going with you is probably going to be better than trying to do this on my own type of thing. Um I do feel like a little eye rolly at like when the prince uh jumped in to like
Yeah.
save the crowd and everything. Um because it's so funny because the prince is literally an amalgam between not only Luke Skywalker but with Princess Leia as well. It's
Yeah.
all in one. You get that one. You get both characters in the one. Um,
This is basically like if Luke went Alderaan instead, kind of
yes,
feeling.
yeah, 100%.
Down to the
Um,
blonde hair.
yeah, um, and I one thing that I definitely noticed on this second view is like I don't know if this entire short it like struggles because it's essentially just the chase scene, you
Yeah.
know? And
And that might be my ultimate hangup is because it's a chase scene, it's supposed to feel very much like a New Hope, like you said. It's the callback to A New Hope. Like, hey, we've got to get out of here, but there's
mhm,
stormtroopers at my ship. We've got to figure this out, and I don't feel like it does it quite as well because it just spends a lot of time in the chase.
yeah. Yeah. And again, I think that could also help along with its budget because when
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at the chase scene, this is 2D animation, guys. This isn't 3D animation. This is classic stuff. So, when you're looking at a chase scene inside of a speeder, you're only shifting a frame like a quarter of an inch back and
Yeah,
forth to show the actual movement from side to side of a hovering speeder. The hair is shifting every so once in a while, type thing. I'm not saying that it's easy to do this because, of course, it's actual production company and everything else, but it's easier to do this than go all out with like a 3D animation and really spend a lot of money.
yeah,
So I think they're like, hey, if we do this, it might help us out, type of
yeah,
ordeal. Um, I do like the aesthetic of the bounty hunter, um, but when it comes to the characters, I do like this enough to be like, hey, if there was a sequel to this, if there was a short story that attached to this, if there was a prequel to this, I would, invest some time into it. So I don't think this is a bad short whatsoever. I think it just does struggle with being like, and this is going to sound a lot worse than I mean it to be, but like, hey, we could phone this in, you know?
yeah. And I can agree with that because like I wrote down like I would be interested in more Cheetah because she talks about how the Empire wrecked her planet, wrecked her family. Like I would like to know more about that, and I feel like an episode 2 would do that, or doing the prequel would do that, obviously. So I wouldn't mind more of this. And again, I don't hate the episode. I just struggled more with this one and it doesn't quite hit.
Yeah.
So again, everything after Black, we have like 1 through 8, and then Black is like 3,000.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
And I feel bad
Oh,
for oh my gosh, I have completely blanked on names. Oh my gosh, I just had
Adrian.
him up too. Adrian. Sorry. Adrian, we love you. I'm sorry. I'm just really bad with names. And sometimes my mind just blanks. I feel bad for Adrian because we keep dissing on Black, and I don't mean to, but sometimes it just
Well,
happens.
it's just not our cup of tea. It
Yeah.
is. It's like asking somebody who only watches reality TV to sit down and watch a Marvel movie.
Yeah,
Like it's not the same. It's
for
it's
sure.
it is literally black and white. And what I do want to say in the defense of Black is that it doing that type of work
Is
is
intense.
is intense, it's extensive, and I give them props for that. Like doing
Hmm.
all of that by hand, and of course some animation, or digital. Even if it was by hand, like it's still digital art, and it's that probably took forever. So yeah, I do want to give them props for their actual artistic style for that. So
Yeah. All right. So to Yuko's treasure.
to Yuko's treasure. So this one is set in, of course, on Tatooine.
Hmm.
I said in our rankings, felt like,
Tell us who the studio is
yes,
for the
studio
Instagram.
is, of course, is from the exact same studio that gave us the Village Bride. This is Kinema Citrus. This is what I had said in our previous rankings. This felt more of like, hey, this is direct inspiration, like from like this feels like it could have already been in the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like that. But we follow a small child named Yoko and her bear droid by the name of Billy. Which I love Billy. I think that the idea of a bear droid is absolutely amazing. I don't know how that would look in live action, but I want it.
It did take me a hot minute to realize that he was a droid because I missed the key scene where his chest opens and he pulls basically a turkey out of
Yeah, when his chest is basically a
it.
microwave. Yeah.
I missed that. I didn't
and
see
then
that until the third round.
and then there is another child, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Soka? Sola. Sola.
Sola. Okay. And then there's Sola. Sola, we learn, is just a street rat. Is basically who, like, what he is. He is a kid that doesn't have a family, and he's introduced as a just random person that is looking for a couple. He gives different stories to different people, and the reason why that is you're learning that he was hired by just some random people. We will talk about them later. That was, hired this little kid to try to find these people. He bumps into Billy, and Billy acts like, "Oh, no, don't know them. I don't know who that could be. Oh well." Really buries the lead on, the whole fact that, like, well, I think burying the lead is the wrong phrase, but he just acts so suspicious when he says, "Nope, don't know them. Bye," and
Yep.
walks away. Um, and that may just be the fact that he is a droid and he can't control that. But then Yuko comes flying out of the street, crashes into some Jawa's junk. I love this animation. I love the colors for this.
Hmm.
Everything just looks beautiful. Like even the Jawas, their eyes like really glow here. I really love it. But how did you like? How did you feel about like learning more about Yuko and their relationship with Billy, and like there's a moment when they are like walking back home and they're like, "Oh, well, how do you feel about staying here?" And like, maybe we should move and all of that. Like,
Well,
how did you feel like that? Because we see where that story is going. Because Billy is like, "Hey, It's not safe here anymore, right? That's kind of like where his thoughts are.
Where I Before I dive into that, let me say my non-spoiler review. Um,
Oh, did we?
I
We definitely did not go into non spoilers with this.
That's what I tried to cue you into, and
Okay,
you just
no,
went,
no, 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 no. Okay, cool. I see it at 40. Okay, 45 minutes. We'll do this. We'll do the same. Hey, same thing happened last episode. We can just cut it. Okay.
All right. So tell us what we are going to be talking about. So the name of the tale and the studio, and then dive into your non-spoiler.
Yes. So this is Yuko's Treasure by. Oh, I just had it up here. Kinema Citrus is the studio that created Yuko's Treasure. This is the same studio that created, of course, The Village Bride and The Lost Ones, I believe, is the sequel
Yep.
to Village Bride for this volume of uh, Visions. Jesus. So my non-spoiler thoughts of this episode of Yuko's Treasure is that it truly does feel like a piece of the Skywalker saga. I think that's what my initial non-spoiler thoughts were. Is that this truly does feel like it could already live in the universe that we already know of Star Wars,
Yeah.
which is really fun. Um, and I think that you could probably say that a couple throughout all of like Visions, you could probably cherry pick and be like, oh, this one could probably be in the Skywalker saga, or this one could. But this one already establishing like, oh, this is Tatooine. Like I think
Mhm.
that within itself, and how just like warm and cozy you feel throughout the entire like episode, really feels nostalgic. So that like is my main like non-spoiler. I do want to add to that that the animation absolutely gorgeous, because one thing that we did mention in our rankings is that when you look at the Village Bride, you look at this and then you look at the Lost Ones,
They don't look
completely
the same.
different. They don't look the same. And so I really like that artistic like creativity with one studio being able to change like that.
Yeah. For me, I thought this has been like all of the other Tatooine tales that we've gotten in Visions.
Hmm.
It's a very fun, simple tale into a family's life, Yuko and Billy, and the sacrifices entailed in service. I do love the visuals in Yuko's Treasure. They are super nostalgic for Tatooine. You get to see the bar, you get to see Mos Eisley, you get to see the deserts of Tatooine, the Jawas. Like everything feels super nostalgic. And again, like you said, the animation done by Kinema Citrus doesn't look like the Village Bride. You could not have told me before watching this the Yuko's Treasure and Lost Ones and Village Bride are done by the same studio. I would
Yeah.
never have guessed that, because studios tend to stick so much towards the same animation style.
Hmm.
So I really dug that. I also love that this is a main thing in Star Wars is found family. Like at the end of the day, that's a main theme in Star Wars is finding your family. And so to highlight that here is super cool. Also, um, there's no force representation here.
Yeah,
This
like
is just
none at all.
normal
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
There
and I
was
kind
like
of dug that.
I do feel like if people are watching this for the very first time, people are probably anticipating it though. They're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Yuko? Is it gonna be Sola? Like, who's gonna be the first one to show force sensitivity? And
Yeah.
the fact that there is none here, I think, does bring it back to like down to earth, which is really funny because it's Tatooine. But yeah, like I really do enjoy that there is no force sensitivity here. It's not even played like the
Yeah.
let's go into spoilers here, but like uh Yuko's parents, it's not like, oh, they were secret Jedi, and
Yeah.
they were just people who wanted to help other people. And literally were just like going from planet to planet to like bring people food and first aid and all of this other stuff. Like I
Hmm.
really dig that this is just like, hey, it's found family trying to help other people.
Yeah.
Which is really wholesome. Um,
So
but
re-ask your question.
so with the realization that it may not be safe anymore, Billy starts to ask Yuko questions on like, "Hey, do you like it here? What do you think about moving? I've been kind of thinking that we should leave and just go somewhere else." Like, did you feel like this was like sufficient enough of a transition? Because like in the realm of talking about the other episode that we had talked about, the smuggler, we're talking about, oh, they didn't focus too much on like character development and things like that. Was there a nice balance for you here with the character development and action and story progression? Like, how did you feel
Yeah,
about that?
there was, and I think it's mainly because we're on a familiar setting that
Mhm.
helps the story progress, is because it didn't have to do too much with the setup. We didn't need a royal society or royal family um involved, because I feel like the prince is what detracts from Cheetah's story. If there had
Mhm.
been some other purpose there, or if it just wasn't explained, like maybe that would have helped. I feel like Yuko and Billy, the setup is there, and based on what we've seen previously from the Visions Tatooine episodes, it was very much what I expected. um but it allows enough time for the characters to set up. Obviously, Yuko's very young. Yuko is like 7 or 8 here.
Mhm.
um I really liked the characterization and development of Sola. Um, I really enjoyed Sola as a character. I love the, you know what the heck, I'm gonna be a big brother kind of thing. Again, the found family.
Yeah.
Um, he does an incredible job with everything. Um, I see. Yeah, I have written down here. Love Sola's big bro energy. That's literally what I said. Um, so I love the teddy bear droid. I love Billy. I really did think he was an alien, and I would have been fine if he was an alien. It just the setup, because I missed the microwave oven. I totally missed that. And so when he rises from, or when he gets shocked, rather, by Foxier, who I think is an intriguing villain.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you a question about, but let me finish the Billy thing. So when he gets shocked, I was like, oh, he's a droid. Like, so like that's a thing. And then Darth Billy was super cool. Like, I also thought Batman kind of
I
also with the
so
cape and everything.
well, and that was the other thing that I wanted to bring up. I was not the biggest fan of Darth Billy.
You
Um,
were not?
no, and the reason being is like literally because of the story progression. Like,
Hmm.
what tools and at what like when did you have the time to suit Billy up with this helmet and cape and extra buttons and stuff
Well, this is
to
where I throw the anime excuse. This is anime.
well
What do you
and and
expect?
and you can, and there's a part of you that can, right? There's a small portion of you that can be able to say, oh well, anime can do all sorts of nonsense and crazy things and it totally makes sense for said universe. But here it felt a little too far out of its own reach. Um, because everything else that was already shown seemed realistic in the universe that they've already established.
Mm.
And for him to just be laying there and then all of a sudden, boom, he has a helmet and cape. He looks like a Darth Vader version of a bear. Um, I know that it's supposed to be cute, and like viewers are going to be like, "Oh, this is a callback to Darth Vader." Haha. Um, it's just I feel like it's unneeded. Um,
That's
more
fair.
so more so because like I think personally, if Billy still looked the same, the impact of him like fighting Yuko in Sola would have been bigger. Like,
Hmm.
oh, Billy, like what are you doing? You're so familiar to me. This there's a physical change. And so you're like, "Oh, well that's not Billy. That's somebody else," you know?
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit of a tidbit that's like just like a personal little nitpick of like, oh, well, if you did this emotionally, it would have hit me a little bit more, you know. But you know, it's just a small nitpick.
Yeah. That makes sense. I don't
Uh,
hate.
so you said you had a question about Foxier though.
So Matt was watching these with me for the very first time for these episodes because he did not get a chance to watch them like we had intended because Mara woke up so early. Um, so I wrote Foxier is intriguing as a villain, and Matt brought up that he is very Anubis coded.
Yes,
And why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I immediately caught on to it. Like as soon as I saw him, I'm like, why is Anubis in Star Wars? Um, there's like, and you know, called me ignorant. I don't know of any like Egyptian like references in the Star Wars that we already know of and read.
Yeah,
The closest thing that I could think of to this is the more modern stuff that we've read in the High Republic with the tombs and
yeah.
everything else. Like that's the closest thing that I could really relate it to. And so when I saw this, I was like, I don't know why you're dressed like that. I don't know what kind of species you are. But okay. Um, but yeah, like it was a very odd choice, but I dig it in a weird way because again, this isn't a force user, he is a pirate. Like I
Mhm.
have started more so to love the like thuggish pirate like anarchist type of character in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying about the tombs, but they literally are walking into the parents' tomb because the
Yeah.
gravestones are there. So that was my thought process is kind of playing with that mythology aspect of Anubis is the god of the dead for Egyptian culture and just kind of bringing in
Okay. I
a
see.
play there.
I am picking up what you're putting down. I understand now.
Especially because he thinks the parents are alive. So he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, pay the toll. Like you robbed me, but now they've escaped," kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was my thought. And actually, I'll have to tell him that because I thought of that this morning. So, um, yeah. Um, Other than that, I didn't really have a lot of stuff. I think we've talked about everything really.
Well, okay,
Um,
the we there is the very end. You know, the
yeah,
fact that like this whole ordeal the Fox, you know, guy, what's his
Fox
name?
ear.
Fox ear. He believes that Yuko's parents are alive. They stole something from him. Um and when they open the tomb it's empty. And that's because literally the centerpiece that's in that room is a lift. When they go down underneath the cavern
Hmm.
completely, that is where we find a very wholesome, like, home. And I think I said this in our ranking, but like, in the, I think there's only a total of like 5 minutes of like They go down at like 17:30 and credits roll at like 21 minutes. So like 3
Yeah,
or 4 minutes. At the beginning, like when you see the home, I started getting emotional.
I did too. Like you
I
definitely
don't know
tear
why.
up.
Like I started to like not necessarily get the quiver of the lip, but like I could feel it like coming around, and then like, oh, let's open the door, let's open the door. And whenever each room like starts to like lights start to turn on, we see the hollow projection of her parents. And I'm just like sitting here like, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry. um and it's so sweet and so sad
Hmm.
because at this moment in time you're finally realizing Yuko has never met them.
Yeah.
And that is so depressing. um but you find out that there is a starship uh in the actual uh underground cavern that they were staying in. And like Sola like starts to get up into it, and he's like, "Oh man, I've always wanted to fly one of these things." And Billy says like the coolest thing ever. He's like, "Oh, cool. Well then let me teach you both how to fly this thing."
Yeah.
And from then on it's like, "Oh yeah, this is a family. Like they're going to stick together forever." Um and it's just beautiful. Like I love the last 4 minutes of this entire short.
Yeah. It's so special. And it, again, going back to the found family aspect, like Sola getting to dive in and explore with Yuko and Billy is just super awesome. And I love it. I did forget one thing because you talked about the end. There's a crate dragon in this. What did you think about the crate dragon? Because we kind of talked
I
about it
was
briefly in the rankings,
Yeah, so
but I forgot how funny it is.
it is funny because they go into this place not knowing what the heck it is, right?
Hmm.
And the kids when they get down, you see the silhouette,
Hmm.
and Sola has this feeling, and he like turns around, the crate dragon stops. But it's still too dark to see. He's like, maybe it's nothing. Takes a few more steps. Then you finally see the crate dragon start to like move along too. And then when the actual light shines from the droid, you see it, and even the crate dragon's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And they all start like freaking out, and it starts this little cartoonish run from chase scene. I really like this. I always like when Star Wars, whether it be Clone Wars, whether it be live action stuff, and especially here when you're able to kind of put your own spin on things that already exist in the Star Wars universe, like a crate dragon. I like that you're able to like, hey, here's something familiar but a little different.
Hmm.
Because like it has a different shaped head. I think it does have like different number of arms and legs, type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it looks like it should be an underground creature rather than the dragon esque, characterization that we see in something like The Mandalorian. You
Yeah.
know, so I thought that was cool.
I loved it. I thought I just every time we get to see the animals of Star Wars, it's always awesome. Like
Yeah.
everybody loved the ice foxes, the crystal foxes in The Last Jedi, for instance. So
Hmm.
loved it. Super fun. Bird of Paradise.
Yes, let's jump into Birds of Paradise. Is it Birds
And
of Paradise or is it the bird? It's the bird, singular. Bird of
the
Paradise.
Bird of Paradise. And so for non-spoilers, because I actually went back or I didn't go back, I remembered this was actually my third in
Hmm.
my ranking. So and quite possibly after this viewing, it probably moved up, if I'm being honest. Um, so So, for The Bird of Paradise by Polygon Pictures, who assisted with the Clone Wars and Star Wars Resistance, my non-spoiler thoughts. I absolutely love this animation. There's just always something about a well done 3D animation that's just always going to be killer. Um,
Hold
it
on.
reminded,
Hold your horses. Did you just say that they helped in Clone Wars and Resistance?
yeah,
That is why the movement is so familiar.
mhm, probably because they had a lot of the models already built in place and were
Ah,
able to go to reuse them and everything.
okay.
Um, so this one reminded me a lot of the artistic visions episode from volume 2, uh the Spanish one in particular. um
Oh,
I do
yes.
love that this one also kind of has an opening crawl with like the prequel scene, like the setup and everything. It's not technically an opening crawl, but it kind of sets the stage for the rest
Hmm.
of the episode. Um, and realistically, it's not often I fall in love with visuals above a story. See my thoughts on Avatar and Avatar 2. But the animation story design, visually, it's all just stunning. The way everything plays together, the title cards that kind of run throughout the episode, it all plays so well together and it's stunning. Stunning. Like, I have no complaints with anything in this episode. I also loved just walking through the Battle of Grief and Darkness with Nakime, the Padawan and main character of the story, because realistically, this is a battle of grief and coming to depths with, hey, I can't be that person anymore, and building yourself back up. And I just thought it was a beautiful story. The visuals accentuate everything perfectly and
Hmm.
really attend to what the story is trying to accomplish. And so for me, I realistically think this one has definitely moved up for me. I don't think it's number one, but I would say it's probably number two in my ranking.
So, watching it for a second and third time, I think this, I don't know. It's very odd because I think all of my list is going to change after watching Yuko's Treasure again and watching The Smuggler. Um, yeah, because and it may just be the fact that also like there is a solid like list of shorts this season and it's really hard to be like, oh, which one is better than the other.
Yeah.
um Other than our favorite ones and our least favorite one. So so with here some non-spoiler thoughts. I really 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 enjoy the art. The stylistic choices that they've made with this animation, to go from the 3D look uh, to the pastel uh, paintbrush look
Mhm.
when certain aspects of the story call for it. Like I really enjoyed that. I thought it was very very fun. And I also really enjoy the opening scene. Like you said, it is not necessarily a opening crawl, but it does establish the rest of the story. Something very important happens at the very beginning to even put our main character in the position that she's in for the remainder of this short. So I really like that because it puts you in a place of like, okay, we know that this individual is going to go through trials and tribulation here. So what does that mean for us as the viewer? What are we going to learn from it also? So I really like the kind of deep thinking that this individual short, adds to as an audience member. I really like that as well. but yeah, that's really it for me. I do also like the very simple, uh, like sound, music choice for this as well.
Yeah,
Um,
very nature-esque
hmm
in its design, and it really works overall.
hmm yeah. But going into non spoilers, Katie. So we first mentioned in our rankings that this antagonist at the beginning the uh, of the episode was very Harley Quinn coded.
Yeah, Harley Quinn crazy Asajj Ventress vibes. Definitely
Yeah.
gives the Night Sister effect with her overall design, but is specifically
hmm
referenced as a Sith. And obviously,
Yep.
we know Night Sisters don't carry lightsabers. So the fact that she's carrying lightsabers insinuates, hey, Sith and not Night Sister. But
Yeah.
could I definitely see a blend of Harley Quinn, Asajj Ventress
Yep.
in the mix.
100%. I like her design. I really like the Jedi Master's design as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Very traditional, like monk esque. But I
Yeah.
also like the tattoos that are all over his head. I thought that was a really cool aesthetic, and I would actually really like to know like what all it says. If there was any
Yeah.
type of Easter egg, tattooed on his head, I think that would be really funny. But yeah, I like that. There is an R2 unit that actually helps in the
Yes.
fight. Um, no real big role. It's literally just that one moment where our main character uses his thrusters to boost her jump.
Yeah, I love that aspect into the action sequence. Like I thought that was super unique. Like we've had R2 help with like tossing lightsabers at our characters that we know and love, but to really get involved in the fight like that, I want to see that in main Star Wars now. Like,
Yeah. um,
um,
but the okay, so you've mentioned her name. I totally forgot her name. What is the main character's name again? It is
Nakime.
Nakime. Okay. So the really big event that happens at the beginning of this episode, Nakime is blinded
Yep.
by the Sith. She is hit with a lightsaber, with double lightsabers, dual lightsabers, um, and is blinded.
Yep. She really
She
leans into her
immediately,
pridefulness
yeah.
in
Uh,
aspects of the fight, like, oh no, but I've got this. Like
and that
ignoring
was
her
something else
master's
that I
tenement.
wanted to mention. Like we see her very much as like, and like the Sith even gives her a compliment. It's like, oh, like
Hmm.
you do this better than me, you know. And so
Yeah.
you immediately are told as an audience member, like, oh, she struggles with this part of being a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
And so you know for a fact, like, oh, this probably is gonna be a story about her struggles with that. Um, and I really do enjoy the fact that they do blind her and she is only really motivated by her survival for one, and then two, with her only being able to like touch and smell and hear, she's really only stuck in her own head, and so this causes her to think and to really, contemplate on life and struggle with her deepest, darkest, parts of herself. And that's really what this episode is about.
Yeah. And it really dives into her initial grief and scaredness with everything. And I talked about the title cards that go through this episode. They really kind of advance you through the stages of grief because we talk about insolence, we talk about acceptance, like all of those things are super important when it comes to battling something with yourself and taking over and making yourself stronger than your weakness is part of that is accepting it. And she eventually does come to that realization. But I love what happens in the different days. We go through 5 days in this short period of time. Can you tell me how long this episode is? Because I don't have Disney
This
Plus pulled up
episode
on
is
it.
a total of 21 minutes. Let me actually go back. This episode is 21 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So, very brief amount of time spent on each day, obviously, with a 21 episode count. But I love the different perspective shots, especially on that first day that we get. We get some wide takes where everything looks normal to the viewer and everything. But then you get really close up shots where a lot of it is darkness or fuzziness that is then highlighted when a certain sense flares off from Nakime's. I thought that was a super cool design element that really articulates the initial stage that she's in. Because if you've read a lot of Star Wars like I have, you know that there's Force users out there who are technically blind, but who see with the Force.
Yep.
And so she goes through the different stages, and as she does, she comes out of it and she gets to witness a sunrise with her first views of Force vision. And it's really beautiful overall, just what she is able to gain with that. But the fact that the perspective shots change over the days that we get, and it eventually grows into what we get in the final shot with the sunrise, I just love it. It gives you chills with how much attention to detail there is, because in traditionally animated things and even some live action things, there's not that much attention to detail, especially nowadays, because they don't think people are paying attention to it because everybody's got a phone in their hand. So why pay attention to it? And I know the craftsmen involved don't want to do that, but they're rushed to the point to get to that. And so to see this level of attention to detail, it's just, I love it. I love it. It's stunning. It does feel very Dagobah coded, the location they're at. It's definitely not Dagobah.
No, I was going to bring it up, though. The fact that we are in a forest, the fact that it's very dark, the fact that she is eventually fighting against herself, like, it's very much Dagobah coded, which
she
I
goes
really
into a
enjoy.
cave.
Yeah. I thought that was all fun.
Yeah, I love the illusions that each day brings and sets up. She very clearly runs into I would think it's like a grave site on the first day, where there's a statue of what is assumed to be like a Jedi Master or Force user involved, because she talks to it. She's like, well, you're here, so clearly something must be important. And then kind of goes on her way and everything. Why is the darkness in one of the illusions? I think it's day 4. Why is the darkness
a giant slug?
A giant dune worm?
I could not tell you, but it was one of my first questions I asked myself.
It's an Easter egg, because you know that a lot of Tatooine is inspired by Dune.
Yes, well, I guess it is. Yeah. So
because even
the
Sarlacc pit kind of gives you Dune worm vibes.
Yeah. So I'm paused at it right now, and I didn't even dawn on me until just now that it is a reference. It could be a reference to Dune. But yeah, I was like, why is the darkness a worm? Not even a dune worm. I was like, why is it a worm? You saying, hey, why is it a dune worm? That's hilarious. And of course,
I picked that up before you did.
I'm actually not a big Dune person. I haven't even seen the new one. Yeah, no, there's a part of me that has also been the type of person that's like, oh, like, do I want to be the type of person to go back and read the book before I go see the movie? I've seen the
Mhm.
80s movie. Um, my
The book is
uncle,
not worth it.
and that's what I've read is that these books are so damn long, and then
I
you get
returned it on
invested in something
Audible.
that isn't that great.
I returned it on Audible, and I don't return things on Audible. Like, that's how bad it was.
Wow. Guys,
Hi, Sheriff Scuttlebutt.
she returned something that she didn't even own, by the way. You don't
Yes, technically
own
speaking.
you don't own much on Audible these days.
Yes. I
Uh
know you're doing all your searching and everything.
no,
Sorry,
but
I'm not bad mouthing you. It just you're so
uh
funny
so
now.
uh Scarif Scuttlebutt says, "Oh, thank you for joining us." But he says, "I got to finish Vision season 3. We highly recommend it. Please do. It
Highly
is a
recommend it.
great season." Uh and this is one of the highlights of this season, not only just for
Yeah.
story but for beautiful animation. And just like Katie was saying, that this has a lot of very cool attention to detail and like little tongue-in-cheek things that only somebody that's really paying attention is going to catch up on. And I dig those things.
Mhm.
There's a moment of we've kind of gone back and forth on it of when she is fighting herself. um One of the coolest things, it is so like, yeah, of course, Clay, like, duh, like, it's you would watch it and be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's not very cool at all. It makes sense. But to me, it's one of the coolest things ever is throughout this entire fight between the two, they both have red lightsabers
Oh.
because of her like fear and hate and anxiety at the beginning of that fight. And then at the very end, you see her like take a deep breath and she recites something that her master tells her. And as she's reciting it, you see the glow on her face shift from red to green, and then it doesn't even zoom out all the way. That's what I love. There's just a slight zoom out that you see the edge of a green lightsaber. And it's so good. It's so good. I don't know why it makes me so happy, but it does.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, I just love it so much. And like you talked about the fight between herself, uh, between the two sides of herself, the lightsaber choreography in this. It's what made me believe that third time around that they're probably using some models from Clone Wars because I don't think any other episode has hit the lightsaber choreography so very traditionally Star Wars. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of good lightsaber choreography, don't get me wrong, but this is just very traditional Star Wars lightsaber choreography and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um I love the fight with herself. I love the design with her alter ego. The fire and the black like is just really awesome. Um and the little speech she gives to herself, like I teared up the third time around. Like I didn't write it down word for word, but like that that vote of confidence to yourself to know, hey, you are my weakness, but I accept you and it's going to be okay at the end of the day. It's so important. And this is a conversation I've had with my mom about how like so many types of media want to have that balance and everything. I don't think it is about balance. I think it's knowing, hey, I've got a dark side and I need to be able to balance that out with the good side so that I have more good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
And the part that she says is like, you're my weakness, but know that you'll always be with me and I'll always be with
mhm,
you. Um that is a clear like statement of like, hey, this fear may never go away. You
Mhm.
know, and she talks about her fear of death and her anxieties and all of this other stuff. And as somebody, you know, guilty as charged, that is number one fear in all of my life is death. Um, like to overcome that with peace of mind, like in such a beautiful way, is really powerful. And I really, really
Mhm.
enjoy it.
Yep. Scarab Scuttlebutt, I think you left the chat, but just as a final shout out, they said, because I don't know if you're a guy or a girl, um, they said, I really loved season 2. This is a great concept. We wholeheartedly agree. We do. Um, but yes, the Bird of Paradise, I love it. It it probably doesn't hit one specifically because I'm always going to be a funny person, and bounty hunters being so funny with the bipolar droid,
Hmm.
super hysterical. I love it. That doesn't change the fact that I love this one.
Hmm.
It's just different
Exactly. No,
ways.
and
So
I'm the same way in the sense of like the oh shoot, I keep forgetting the title of that one. It is the Song of Four Wings. You know, I'm very like, hey, what's weird and like what's new things that we can do with the already
mhm,
existing universe, right? You know, we saw
yeah.
the AT-AT with freaking 17 bajillion guns pop out of its neck, and like we saw a literal little girl turn into an X-wing. Like that's
Mhm,
weird, that's crazy, that's really fun. Like I like those things, but when you get like philosophical and you do some really beautiful things with art, like I really dig that as well. And that's what I like when I'm looking at this, like I want to move a Bird of Paradise in a different position. But then I look at all the other stories and I'm like, well, all of these have their own unique thing also. And it's really difficult to
it
say, oh,
really is.
is one over the other, or this one is one over the other. So like I am content with being able to say that like each one of these has its niche and they really hit hard on that niche.
Yep.
And I think that's all they really need to do when it comes to something like this type of anthology for Visions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I wholeheartedly agree. And that's why we talk about rankings so often as, oh, this is so much better than this one. This is so much better than this one. This is mainly to give you an idea of what our personality is like in an episode. The
Yeah.
funny is, if something can make me laugh, that's always going to outweigh an emotional storyline for me. They can do both. But to me, I value the capability to laugh. I enjoy
Yeah.
laughing. That's always something that's going to brighten my day. That's why I lean into stuff like Friends and How I Met Your Mother, is because those things make me laugh. And so I love an emotional storyline. But at the end of the day, if I if I were to pick one to rewatch, it would be Bounty Hunters, which is why Bounty Hunters sits at 1. So, yeah. I love the Bird of Paradise though. I love the growth that Nakime experiences. Um I don't think I would need a sequel or another storyline to this one. I think this is perfect as it is. And I don't want to see something. I don't think it needs anything else. I don't think it sets up for anything else. What are your thoughts?
I agree. This is the one that I agree with in the case of it being a standalone short film. This has like yeah, you could say like, "Oh, but what about the Sith girl? Like where did her roots come from and why is she so crazy and all this other stuff like, "Oh, did she ever find her master?" And, you know, when do we get to see the fruits of her labor in this forest and we actually see some of these teachings in action? Like, no, no, no. that's what this was for. This is to show you the lesson and show you
Mhm.
that she learned it. And that's it. Like,
I I would love to see this one submitted for Oscar short film consideration.
yes.
I
Yes.
think I think people
100%.
would eat this up. Like it could actually get a nomination, I
Hmm.
think. So that's my opinion.
If I was Disney, I would 100%. Like, I know that they're probably going to be like, "Oh, we'll just submit all of them into the short
The
film."
only one they did not submit anything out of Visions Volume 2, and the only one they submitted in Volume 1 was Village Bride.
Yeah. I
So,
would choose this one if out of all of them, for the fact that it literally stands alone and there is no question of, oh, what happened after, or oh,
mhm,
what happened before this. It's
yep,
just its own thing. You get the lesson, you get that the main character learned that lesson, and it's all sunshine and rainbows. Like,
yep.
it's beautiful. Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, Clay, I think that takes us to the end.
That is the very end of our part 2 on this deep dive of volume 3. We will have a part 3 now, because of scheduling and because of that thing called Thanksgiving. We will not be having a live show. Instead, we are going to be recording our part 3 of the deep dive off air, and we will be putting that out there on Thanksgiving, so you can avoid all of the very obnoxious talks that you're gonna have at Thanksgiving dinner.
So if you're stuck in the kitchen, you can just stick in an AirPod, a headphone, and
Exactly,
go, I'm going to listen to
and
my podcast.
exactly 100%.
No,
Enjoy
but in all
our
seriousness, enjoy your family time if
yes,
that's your thing.
yeah. Whether that's antagonizing family or whatnot, that just enjoy yourself. But yeah, we will have a full deep dive of the sequels of Visions, that being the Duel, the Ninth Jedi, and the follow up to the Village Bride, which is called the Lost Ones. So
Yeah.
expect
I
that on your feeds next week. Well, no,
so
yeah, next week.
yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Did you publish oh my gosh, Vector Prime? Did you
Yes, I
publish Vector
did
Prime last week? Okay.
last week.
So, guys, if you missed this last week, you had Vector Prime, which is the first episode in our Patreon series, which we are uh releasing an episode of the our review of the New Jedi Order series of books, which tackles the Yuuzhan Vong invasion. So, Agents of Chaos 2 is going to be our review for December. So, if you are interested in catching up, that's our $5 tier on Patreon. As always, Clay has it linked in the description box below if you guys are interested.
Hmm.
Um, so, uh, like Clay said, sequels will be next week. For Visions Volume 3, that will be our part 3. I do not think we are going to have time to talk about Ronin, the Visions novel that was originally the sequel to The Duel.
Hmm.
I I've been reading other things. I've been enjoying a couple of different stories. I haven't had time to go back to Ronin. I think what will probably happen is that will be an individual topic, probably in the first half of next year. Um, just kind
Just
of
to do
looking at the
some
schedule,
comparisons and
just to do some
see how it
comparisons
fits. Yeah.
and kind of go and kind of talk about the way Disney treats print media. So,
Yeah.
um, if you guys are interested in that, please let us know and we can bump that up on the schedule. But it will just be the Visions episodes themselves next week. Um, so Clay, tell us where they can find you.
Of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on any and all social media. Um, go also follow on Instagram, Volume Comics. It would be greatly appreciated. Um, go check out our episode of Ranger Alliance this week. We're kind of in limbo. Some things have been happening, and it looks like Toei may actually be canceling the series for something else, and we're not entirely sure what we're going to be doing. So that's fun. So while we figure all that out, me and Joe and Jake are kind of just like texting back and forth with all of the drama that's been going on with Super Sentai and Power Rangers and all of that jazz. And we talked all about it last week or this past episode. So go check that out. But yeah,
Y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms. It's at Slice of Katie. I may be dropping my Twitter like completely and like wiping the deck and going, it's there, but I'm elsewhere kind of thing, and just completely logging out of it because it just has proven to not be worth my time. And the app update is just garbage.
yeah,
Or not the app update because I'm not using the app. I refuse to download the app. I'm using Safari and it's garbage. So, but I'm everywhere else on social media and I try to check everything once a day. So if you shoot me a message, I promise I will get back to you at some point. Star Wars Alliance, you can find us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads, as well as Gmail. That Gmail, all of those usernames are Star Wars Alliance with no A in Wars. That's very important. Don't forget it. And obviously, you add the specific things. So Blue Sky, you have like Blue Sky Social jibber jabber at the end of it. I don't. Blue Sky is like the one thing that I'm like, ugh. And then Gmail, you add at gmail.com on the end. I am trying to post more on our social media. I'm not as good as creating graphics and reels, but I do a good story. So now that I'm all healed up, my goal is to start posting more for you guys and try to start talking and things with the goal that after the holidays I will be helping Clay out more and learning more about graphic creation and things, or I'll try at least. I can promise I will try, Clay. That's all I can give you, unfortunately. I can't promise I'm going to be good at it, but I will try.
No, it's all good. It's a learning experience, and thankfully, like a lot of these places that a lot of people do make graphics for social media, they have literally all the tools that you need. And it's not just like, oh, you have to buy or be, a monthly subscriber of like 6 different things to make these things. So thankfully, whatever you choose, it'll mostly all be there. So and again, I like doing the stuff. It gives me something to do for now. But with me now being a business owner,
you can
that
do it. I have faith in you.
I have something to tell you / show you when we go off the air. So we'll trust me. Yeah.
Well, with
But
that, guys, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the force be with you.